You know the feeling. It's that time of year, you pop open your banking app, and there it is, a huge direct deposit from the IRS. You're immediately texting your partner, maybe you start scrolling through flights, or you just let out this massive sigh of relief because, finally, you've got some breathing room. Well, let's talk about that feeling. For a ton of us, it's a number that looks something like this. 4,000 bucks. It honestly feels like the government just handed you a giant, well-deserved bonus just for being a functioning adult. But what if I told you that feeling, that excitement, is actually the sign of a massive financial mistake? What if this isn't a bonus at all? What if it's a trap? Okay, here's the brutal reality of it. The government didn't give you a bonus. You just gave them a $4,000 interest-free loan for an entire year. And while you were doing that, you were probably carrying a credit card balance at, 22% interest? So the real question is, why do we keep falling for this? Well, it turns out the answer has everything to do with this psychological trap that catches millions of us every single year. It's basically a glitch in how our brains are wired to think about money. Behavioral economists have a name for it. They call it mental accounting. And it's just a fancy term for a cognitive bias where we treat money differently depending on where it came from, instead of just thinking, a dollar is a dollar. And this slide right here explains it perfectly. We see our regular paycheck as real money, right? That's for bills, for groceries, for rent. It's rational money. But because a tax refund shows up all at once as this big windfall, our brain goes, ooh, play money. It becomes emotional. I mean, think about it. You'd probably never pull $4,000 out of your savings for an impulse vacation. But with a refund, you do it without a second thought. But here's the simple, unvarnished truth. A refund is not a gift from Uncle Sam. It is your own money. You overpaid your taxes, you essentially treated the government like a savings account that pays 0% interest, and you let inflation quietly eat away at its buying power all year long. All right, so let's move on to the math, because the numbers don't lie. This is where this whole thing goes from a quirky psychological tick to a real, actual financial disaster. So let's meet Marcus. Marcus gets that $4,000 refund every single April, and he loves it. He calls it his forced savings plan because, he doesn't trust himself to save up. But here's the catch. Marcus is also carrying a $5,000 credit card balance at a brutal 24% interest. Now look at the cost here. For 12 entire months, Marcus let the government hold his $4,000 for free. He earned 0%. In that same time, he paid a bank over $1,000 in interest just to carry his debt. He is literally paying a bank to borrow money while giving his own money to the government for free. It is a guaranteed loss every single year. So what's the alternative, right? Let's look at another path. This is the one that quietly builds actual wealth instead of just funding the appearance of it. This is Tyler. Tyler just updated his W-4, so his tax withholding is accurate. So instead of a big refund, he gets about 330 extra bucks in his paycheck every month. And here's the absolute key. He sets up an automatic transfer for that exact amount into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. He never even sees it hit his main checking account. So what happens if he just lets that one small automatic decision ride for 3 decades? Well, assuming a pretty standard historical 8% return, that money compounds to over $490,000. That small change in his paycheck, the money he reclaimed from the government, turned into nearly $500,000. I mean, just look at this side by side. Marcus got a refund every year that he blew on vacations and splurges, all while paying high-interest debt. Tyler got 0 refund, but he invested that extra cash month in, month out. What's the result? Marcus funded the appearance of wealth. Tyler quietly built actual wealth. Okay, so the good news is that escaping this trap is actually surprisingly simple. It does not require a fancy financial advisor. You don't need complex spreadsheets. It literally takes about 10 minutes. So here's your new goal for tax season. Forget the big refund. You want to get that number as close to 0 as you possibly can. A $0 refund means you were perfectly efficient. You paid the government the exact right amount, not a penny more. And here's how you do it. Step 1. Go to the IRS website. Use their free tax withholding estimator. It's super straightforward. Step 2. Take those numbers and fill out a new W-4 form with your employer.
And step 3, and this is the most important step of all, you automate the exact amount your paycheck just went up. Don't let it just get sucked into your daily spending. Give it a job.
So where does it go? You've got 3 fantastic options. You can send it to a high-yield savings account to build up that emergency fund. You can use it to brutally attack any high-interest debt, which is a guaranteed return on your money. Or you can be like Tyler and automate it into a low-cost index fund. The point is, you make your money work for you all year long. Because here's the thing they never really tell you. Real wealth is quiet. It's invisible. It is not the vacation photo you post in April. It's having the financial autonomy to direct your own life, because every single dollar you earn is actually out there compounding in your favor. So that really just leaves us with one final question. That refund, sure, it feels great for a week, but is it costing you a lifetime of financial control? Are you directing your money month by month to build a life of real financial autonomy? The choice, as always, is yours.